Senator Niall Donnghaile, 8 minutes.
Guramaigit alas Carly agus boilam fáilte chur Ravanair agus Tresliam lesum ned a Taratiga O'Hugh Hamakdia Hitchamak in their column Killia a couple of anus. I want to begin by echoing the Tanish's words of condemning events in Derry over the last number of days. My own party vice president, indeed our MP, our MLAs and our councillors have been working hard on the ground along with many others to challenge those and to face down and to offer a positive solution and indeed alternative to those who would seek to bring us back. I want to again thank the Minister, as I have done consistently, for his committed attendance to the Seanad, and I acknowledge and note that in coming in to brief us and keep us informed in the best way that he can, I suppose, of the situation, the live situation, as it plays out in the Brexit dynamic. I note a number of contributions, statements today, and I actually agree with Senator Richmond in terms of tempering our response to the agenda of some of those who would leak certain red herrings into the media, who would seek to further escalate the uncertainty and at times the very justifiable and understandable concern and panic that exists out there within Irish political life and indeed elements of British political life as this calamity plays out in front of us. The latest statement I note, although this one has very firm credibility, is from the CBI in the north, who have told us that a no-deal Brexit will result in a loss of £5 billion per year by 2034 to the north's economy. So much for taking back control. That is the reality of the situation that we face into, that is being inflicted upon our people against our will. And I always make the point in this House, because I was one of them, one of the majority of people in the north of Ireland who voted to remain in the EU. So when we think about all of this in its democratic context, we are having this inflicted, all of this reckless danger inflicted upon us very consciously and clearly against our expressed democratic will. So I also want to welcome the Minister's statement today that there will be a reconvening of the All-Ireland Civic Dialogue. I think that's necessary, and I think that's positive and useful, and will be welcomed by the relevant stakeholders, Taoiseach, who have sought avenues to contribute and to engage with government, and government have been open to that in various forms over the last number of months and years. I also welcome and note government's attendance at the Future Ireland conference, which is taking place in Belfast this Saturday. That significant conference, which I think is an inevitable outworking and manifestation of the mobilisation of civic nationalism and how they have engaged with you and the Taoiseach and your government colleagues. And it's indicative of that live dynamic that exists, not just within broader nationalism in the north, but permeates right throughout various sectors, various traditions and various classes as we face further into the uncertain and choppy waters of Brexit. So it's important and it's right that government would be present and engaged at that event, and I'm sure and certain that they'll go with a listening ear and they'll hear and absorb what they're hearing from the people who are on the ground and dealing with the realities at present, and also will be the people who deal with the potential fallout from Brexit as we move forward, not least the danger of a no-deal crash-out Brexit. But other colleagues have acknowledged, and the Taoiseach is right when he said that we in this House, not least, have come together in a very uniform and united way to respond. Although we've had differences of views and differences of opinion, that's fair enough. That's what these institutions are for, to give a platform and expression to those different legitimate views. So it isn't the time for party political swipes, and I just want to reiterate that it's the second time I've had to make that point in this House over the course of Brexit statements. We don't need it. Increasingly now, regardless of Sinn Féin and our abstentionist policy, and we all rightly celebrated abstentionism yesterday, but increasingly people in the north see Westminster as part of the problem, not part of the solution. And for all of the greatest will in the world, I'm no mathematician, but Sinn Féin's 7 MPs certainly don't go into 230 seats, and that was how much Theresa May lost her last vote by. But Sin Scéal, that's a debate for another day. This is about clarity around the government's preparedness for Brexit. Taoiseach, so I have just a couple of questions that you might reflect on. And I offer these up in a very sincere way because they are the questions that are coming from on the ground. The government says it will defend citizens' rights in the context of Brexit. Our citizenship rights as Irish and the EU citizens. But one of the most basic elements of any citizen's rights is the right to elect democratic representation. And we had the opportunity with the allocation of the 2 additional seats to Ireland after Brexit to afford those seats to the north, to continue to afford citizens there the rights and the opportunities to have elected representation and to have a voice at the heart of the EU institutions, and we have fallen in relation to that hurdle. So you might reflect on that, Taoiseach. The government has also said, and by the way, it's important to say, I believe you, Taoiseach, when you say there'll be you don't want to see a hard border in Ireland. I take it your word. I know you believe in that, and I know that is your stated outcome. But we have heard the remarks from the EU Commission today, so you might again take the opportunity to just reflect on that and put a message to the people, not least that live along the border, to respond to that. The other thing is the government tell us that they will defend and they will respect and they will uphold the Good Friday Agreement. And again, I believe them. I absolutely take them at their word in this regard, because it's far too important to do otherwise. But then on the other hand, the government tell us not to look to the Good Friday Agreement for a potential solution to Brexit in the form and in the increasing demand as displayed by the latest polls for a referendum on unity and the potential life jacket offered to us by the Good Friday Agreement. So if we're going to defend and uphold the Good Friday Agreement, we should also look to it and we should also adhere to it in its fullest. So, Sin Mamed, thanks, Minister.
Thank you very much. Senator Francis.